Hi and welcome back. And first of all, I'm sorry there's been this delay of a couple of days between the astrology and the tarot, but sometimes life happens, and I had a few things that popped up unexpectedly, and I just had to take care of them. But I'm back. So from the astrology, if you remember, we talked about the new moon. We talked about it as being the first new moon of the astrology year, first new moon in Aries, which is the first sign of the astrology calendar. And it's a great way to start something new or to push something forward. Just remember that what we're looking at is going forward with projects and ideas, business concepts that fit very much with you, being in alignment with your internal values. So let's have a look at that part first, which is the going forward with business ideas. And then the second part of this particular new moon is talking about a revolution, and it's the start of a revolution of our relationship with self. And I'm hoping that for all of us it's a time where we respect and honour ourselves. So let's see what the cards have to say. Okay, just using the Celtic cards to see. And I'm sorry about the traffic outside. Life. Flying. Oh, very nice. So we get the High Priestess. We get the Shadow. And we get Equilibrium. Okay, and it's got the message that they're about self-discovery. It's way too many cards to be looking at. Just goes to show. I never really know what's going to happen until I get started, and then messages start to pop in like crazy, and we see. Alright, so I've been told to keep going because there is more. Oh, that's very nice. Eight of Cauldrons. So there's more to come. Oh. Okay. And then a nice resounding. That's it, which is just as well because quite a lot of cards popped out. Okay. Good. All right, so let's show you what's underneath, and we see what comes up. Oh, yes, okay. The Nine of Wands. The Wounded Warrior. Can we see that one nice and strong? Let me just see if I can. There we are. We're tired. We've been fighting the good fight. You can see he's got a few battle-worn wounds there, but they're all on the outside. So we've been fighting the good fight, and we're tired. But can you see? Still alert and still on guard. So it's a 9. We're coming up to the end, but we still need to be aware because there's one big push. And that one big push in terms of getting to know who we are and restarting and rekindling that relationship with us is starting to happen on the 5th, or leading up to the 5th. For some of us, it's been happening in the last couple of days. Okay. So let's put that to one side. Okay, so I'm going to read down, and we're going to look at the different phases. So let's have a look at what's been going on. Oh, this is very nice. So let's start off. We start off with the High Priestess. And the High Priestess, I think most of us know, in many ways, this is the cauldron. The cauldron is talking about fulfillment. And we've got, again, see the new moon. And did you also see the new moon? So this is definitely talking about the new moon. And what this is talking about with the new moon is this is actually talking about this is something we've been called in. So the high priestess is there to talk about what our relationships look like with ourselves. And sorry, I was just reaching for something. And we've been asking for clarity. So this message is for those of us who've been seeking clarity and seeking to move forward and get some ideas about where we should be going and what the direction is. So that's really terrific. Sorry, phone went off, but it's on silent. Okay, underneath the high priestess, that's looking at knowledge. And remember, she's looking at knowledge that's not coming through with clear messages, that's coming through in these subliminal messages, which sits very nicely with Mercury in retrograde and Mercury still in the shadow period. Now what we've got again here, and it's also another full moon, is the Eight of Cups. Now this person, I don't know if you can see it, but they're walking away, and they're walking away uphill. So what this is talking about is some of us are actually changing and walking away from things that we thought gave us great happiness and gave us great fulfillment, but in actual fact, they're not fulfilling us anymore. Or maybe they never fulfilled us. We just thought we should be going for them because it's something that we were told would be good for us. So this is the card of walking away from what used to give us fulfillment and reaching towards something new. So it's all part of that long-term journey. Okay. Underneath that, which is very, very nice, is the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, remember the Wands talks a lot about the environment and how we're relating to the environment around us. So this is actually a nice card. This is very, very stable. So we've come out of a period of time of being relatively stable and in control of things. And walking away sometimes makes us feel unstable, but what the King is here to tell us is that's an illusion. So don't be afraid to turn away from things that you thought were fulfilling you but now are not, because it's clearly just an illusion. There is more to you, and there's more mastery in you than you thought before. Okay. What's happening in the center is what we want. So if you like, this is the advice. This is the stuff we need to be a little bit wary of. And it starts off with the shadow. And the shadow, you can see, just have a look at how gloomy that card is. And I'll bring it forward so you can see it a little bit further out of the shadow. Yeah, eyes, male, two people sitting there either side of worshipping that large obelisk which is sitting up there. It's very powerful, and it's adorned, and it's the shadow. Now these two people, male and female, and remember this is a little bit, often you see the dualities or the devil and the male and the female, and they're slightly highlighted, and the obelisk is slightly highlighted, but most of it remains in the shadow. So this is really a card that lets us know that there's some self-discovery that needs to be happening, and what it's asking you to be is not to be afraid of your shadow side, to name it, and in many ways to expose it, because we tend to fear away and move away and turn away from aspects of ourselves that we either don't like or we think shouldn't be there. And in many ways that's not what I want you to do. You have to own it and own up to it, and then you can change it. Naming something is really important in releasing it. So if you've got something about yourself that you don't like, about a behavior or a habit, you got to name it. You got to say it out loud and say, this is me and I'm a little bit addicted to this, whether it be, I don't know what it could be. I was going to say gin and tonics, but I love gin and tonics. I'm not addicted to them. I just love them. So it's about looking at you and naming something that might be sitting there. So whether it's a fear of growing old, maybe it's a fear of not being good enough, whatever that is, name it. Because once you've named it, you start to minimize it and you can work with it. So move it out of the shadows into the light. Underneath that, then we've got the Three of Shields, which is also fabulous. And look at that, it's the same obelisk, but this time it's been lit up. And it's talking about the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles shields how you live your life, how your life is. And this is, if you like, two people together, and here is someone blessing these two people together in front of the same obelisk. But this time it's not as pretty, but it is definitely in the light. And can you see the difference? Can you see where the light is in this one? Yeah. Can you see that? The light's going up and away from the obelisk. It's getting smaller. And this one is getting much lighter. So as soon as you start to name it, it's highlighted, and then you can work with it and you can do something with it. And we're talking about a 3. And the 3 is the beginning of something quite solid. So you've made the 2, remember the 2 is choices. The 3 is you're starting out on your new path. And it's the right path to be on, indicated by the blessing and by the path there. All right. Now, underneath that, you have a very, very powerful card, which is called the Father. And if you have a look at that, volcano behind, huge antlers, look at the way this person is sitting. All of it is extremely tense, but strong. So again, having a little look at this, we have coming down the bottom, we had the King before, which was strength. And this is the Father, a little bit fiery Father, like the Emperor. So this is actually saying there really is this strength within you. So at the moment, even if you don't feel you have it, reach in and start acknowledging the strength in you. Start saying you have the strength in you, and you will see that you start to see the strength in you. So the little mantra, if you want to change something and you really want to get something going, and whether that's something about yourself or whether that's something about your new life, you have got to start with the basis that I am worthy and I am strong enough to do this. So a bit of a mantra for you is definitely I am worthy. And then after that, fast on its heels, I am strong enough to do this. You are so worthy. We are so worthy. Okay. Because don't forget, these are also messages for everybody. Okay. Then you get this nice kind of a card coming at the end, which is equilibrium, which is a little bit like temperance. She's got the 2 cups. You can see the arc up the top here, moving backwards and forwards. She's by the river, and it's talking about the fulfillment again, and it's talking about reaching an equilibrium. So in the last, with all of these eclipses, and I'm even going to say for the last 2 years, we've had this really massive pendulum swing, and you often do get this emotionally charged pendulum swing in times of massive change, when it's like, I'm riding the pendulum and I'm swinging this way and I'm going, that's fantastic. And then then it goes backwards, you think, oh, this is not so good. And then it goes forward, then it goes backwards. So equilibrium, this piece of being centered, the swing of the pendulum emotionally not being so big, the swing of the fortunes and misfortunes not being so big, but most important, our responses to those aspects not being so big. That's the very nice thing within that. Okay. Knight of Swords coming underneath, lovely card talking about action. And can you see the Knight? It's riding into the storm. It doesn't matter that there's a storm. I'm still going forward. And I'm using this energy around me to go forward. So that's the other nice aspect of the Knights. It's forward movement, and there's a lot of forward movement. And you're riding a dragon, and you're covered in red. So we get a nice red, red, and red. So we're definitely on the path forward. Okay, and underneath that, which I love very much again, and this is really, I think, sums it all up, is the Ace of Wands. So it's very much a beginning, a new beginning of how we see ourselves and how we then react to the world around us. So this is really the essence of what this change is for many of us. It's a massive change of, if you change the way you fundamentally see yourself, it will automatically change how you see yourself in the world around you. And this is the opportunity that we have. And if you're thinking about new businesses, this is even the opportunity to create something new. And if you take it across the bottom, see, have strength, have the power, have the belief. In fact, I'll put it in the right way. Okay, can you see? It's wonderful. You have got everything you need in terms of your personal strength to have that new beginning. And you are definitely walking away from something. And part of you is coming from the shadows into the sunshine, okay, into the light. And once that starts to happen, then that's when the healing takes place. And then once you've started to address that, then that's where you can go forward and create this new relationship of yourself to the world. And this new relationship, this new revolution, or this new discussion of self, it could be in your work, it could just be in how you see yourself, but there's definitely something about old beliefs, old patterns in particular, ways that you thought you were being emotionally fulfilled, is definitely you. We're walking away from that. We're not sitting there waiting. We're actively walking away from that. So that's the change that's happening with that, and I really think that's terrific. And I really think it's an opportunity for great growth. And it's quite clear, it's beautiful. This is one of the things I like about the Celtic cards. I ummed and ahed about getting them, but now that I've got them, I'm really falling in love with them because they are so fundamentally clear. And sometimes when we're talking about change, we need to have that clarity. Have great faith in yourself. This is something you've been asking for. The opportunity is here now. It's going to be easier for us to make this change. And we are so going to enjoy this. And by naming something that has been in the shadows for us, once you name it, you own it. You're in control of it. And it immediately stops worrying you. It immediately stops annoying you, and it minimizes itself. It becomes manageable. And that's the beauty of that. So enjoy the change. It's going to be wonderful. All right. I did say I put something up about manifesting, and I will. I'll get on to that, and it'll happen soon. If you want a private consultation with me, either about some astrology, but I will warn you that's not my forte, but I'm happy to go in and do the research for you in terms of personal astrology. I only like to work on the big picture astrology. Tarot cards, you're most welcome. Get in contact with me. And if you need some help to shift something that's been bothering you, by all means, get in contact with me. The details will be in the contacts. All right, I'll see you in about a week's time, if that, probably a bit earlier, to start talking about Saturn. And Saturn goes into retrograde, and I want to change everyone's perception of retrogrades, because retrogrades are really gifts from the gods. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye.